Somewhere right now, an AI is booking a flight, building a spreadsheet, drafting a legal memo, and messaging a coworker. And nobody typed a single follow-up prompt. No copy-paste, no "can you also," no human in the loop at all. This is not a demo. This is not a concept video from 2023. This shipped, this week, for real users. And it might be the moment the entire idea of a job quietly starts to change. Welcome back. Let's talk about ChatGPT Work, the tool that OpenAI insists is not just a chatbot anymore. It's an employee. For 3 years, ChatGPT has been the world's most famous autocomplete. You type a question, it types an answer. You copy that answer into an email, a doc, a spreadsheet, and you do the actual work of assembling it into something useful. That era is officially being retired. OpenAI just launched ChatGPT Work, a new agent built on top of its latest model family, GPT 5.6, which itself ships in 3 flavors: a heavyweight version for maximum reasoning power, a fast version optimized for speed, and a balanced version tuned for everyday use. The pitch is simple and, frankly, a little unsettling. You give it a goal, not a task. Put together next quarter's marketing report. Reconcile these 2 spreadsheets. Build me a landing page for this product launch. And instead of handing you a rough draft to finish yourself, it goes and does the whole thing, pulling context from your connected apps, your files, your calendar, and comes back with a finished deliverable. A slide deck, a dashboard, a working website. Done. It runs on what's essentially its own virtual computer. It can open browser tabs, click buttons, fill out forms, read your documents, and chain all of that together over minutes or hours without you babysitting every step. And this isn't some experimental toggle buried in a settings menu. It's rolling out across web, mobile, and desktop immediately for higher-tier subscribers, with wider access following shortly after. Here's the part that should actually make you sit up. This wasn't released in a vacuum. Just 48 hours before OpenAI's announcement, its biggest rival pushed its own competing autonomous coworker agent out of beta and onto phones and the web. 2 of the most valuable AI labs on the planet picked the same week to say, out loud, in public, chat is dead. Work is the new interface. That is not a coincidence. That is an arms race. So how does an AI go from answering questions to finishing your job? 3 ingredients. First, tool use. The model isn't just generating text anymore, it can reach out and actually operate software. Browsers, spreadsheets, code editors, file systems. It sees a button, it clicks it. It sees a form, it fills it. Second, persistence. Older chatbots forgot everything the second the conversation ended. This generation can hold a plan in its head across dozens of steps, come back to unfinished tasks, and keep working in the background while you do something else entirely, on your phone, on your laptop, wherever. Third, judgment calls on when to ask for permission. Before it does anything consequential, sending an email, spending money, submitting a form, it's designed to pause and check with you. In theory, you're always the one holding the leash. In theory. Now, if the idea of software quietly running your job while you sleep sounds like something you want to keep tabs on, because trust me, this is moving fast and it is not slowing down. This is exactly the kind of story we break down every single week. Hit subscribe now because 6 months from now, this video is going to look quaint. Okay, back to it. This launch didn't happen because OpenAI woke up one day feeling generous. It happened because the entire industry is sprinting toward the same finish line, and nobody wants to arrive second. Anthropic's rival agent already handles calendars, email, and full workflows autonomously, and just expanded from a desktop-only tool to phones and the web. Google has its own version integrated deep into Chrome and Workspace. Even smaller AI coding startups are reportedly racing to ship their own workplace agent before the market consolidates around 2 or 3 winners. Analysts tracking this space are projecting the agentic AI market to be worth well over $100 billion within the next decade. This isn't a feature anymore, it's a category. And every major lab wants to own it before the others do. Interestingly, in the middle of this race, OpenAI reportedly killed off its dedicated AI browser, less than a year after launching it, a sign that the strategy has shifted. Instead of building a separate browser for AI to live in, the plan now seems to be fold the browsing, the reasoning, and the doing into one single assistant that lives everywhere you already work. Here's where the shine comes off a little. Giving an AI the ability to click, type, and act on your behalf doesn't just make it more useful. It makes it a dramatically bigger target. Security researchers have already demonstrated that these agentic modes can be manipulated into doing things a normal chatbot would flatly refuse. Executing malicious code patterns, leaking data it was never supposed to touch, even being tricked by instructions hidden inside something as innocent-looking as an image file. That's not science fiction. That's published research, tested against real systems. Think about what that actually means. You're not just trusting an AI to write good sentences anymore. You're trusting it with your inbox, your calendar, your internal documents, sometimes your company's financial data, and handing it the equivalent of your own login credentials to go operate on your behalf. One widely cited data snapshot from the corporate security world found that in a sample of financial services companies, the overwhelming majority of employees were already pasting sensitive material, financial data, legal documents, internal strategy into public AI tools, often without any formal company policy governing it. Now multiply that by an agent that doesn't just read your documents, but acts on them autonomously. The upside is enormous. The blast radius, if something goes wrong, is bigger than anything we've dealt with in software before. Let's talk about the part everyone actually wants to talk about. Are you about to lose your job to this thing? The honest answer is complicated, and anyone giving you a clean yes or no is selling you something. Here's what we know. Multiple major employers have already cut thousands of corporate and support roles over the past year. And, notably, they are increasingly comfortable saying AI out loud is the reason, something that would have been a PR disaster not long ago. Tech layoffs in 2026 are running at a pace nearly double the year before. Labor economists studying exposure to these tools consistently flag the same categories as most vulnerable: administrative and secretarial work, entry-level data analysis, junior coding roles, paralegal work, routine content production, basically any job defined by repeatable process rather than judgment, relationships, or accountability. One head of economics at a major AI lab put it plainly in recent commentary: displacement effects could show up fast, which is exactly why they're pushing for real-time monitoring frameworks to catch the impact as it happens, rather than after the fact. But, and this matters, it's not all one-directional panic. Industry analysts have also predicted that a huge share of these so-called agentic AI projects, somewhere north of 40%, will actually get canceled before 2027 due to cost overruns, unclear ROI, or the technology simply not living up to the hype in messy real-world conditions. There's also a term going around for companies quietly blaming AI for layoffs they were planning anyway, regardless of whether the technology had anything to do with it. So here's the honest picture. This technology is real, it is spreading fast, and it is absolutely already reshaping who gets hired for what. But the narrative that every office job vanishes overnight is exaggerated. What's emerging instead looks more like a shift in what a job even means. Fewer people doing the manual step-by-step work, and more people supervising, verifying, and correcting fleets of AI agents running in the background. Some analysts are already calling this an entirely new job category by itself. Whether that's a promotion or a demotion probably depends on which side of the desk you're sitting on. Step back for a second. 3 years ago, the story of ChatGPT was, type a question, get an answer, do the work yourself. Today, the story is, state a goal and the AI plans the steps, uses the tools, and delivers the finished result. While multiple billion-dollar labs race each other to make that loop faster, more autonomous, and harder to distinguish from an actual employee. That is an enormous shift in less than 3 years, and the pace is not slowing down. If anything, the fact that 2 competing labs launched their flagship autonomous coworker products within 48 hours of each other tells you this race just entered its most intense phase yet. Whatever you think about the risks, and there are real ones, this genie is not going back in the bottle. The only real question left is who adapts fast enough to work alongside it, instead of getting replaced by someone who already has. So here's the question for you. Are you already using agentic AI tools like this at work? Or does the idea of software quietly operating your inbox and your calendar without asking sound like an absolute nightmare? Drop your take in the comments. Genuinely curious whether this thread is full of excitement or full of people updating their resumes. See you in the next one.